So just quickly, because we've got Wes waiting in the wings, I just want to let everybody know, if you've got any questions for Wes Brown, please put them in the comments there, and the best ones will come up on the big screen here. So if you want to ask Wes any questions, get them into the comments now. We are also going to have a bit of a competition. We've got a prize draw coming up, and if you want to enter the prize draw, it's absolutely free. Just answer this question, scroll along the bottom there. Who is the odd one out? You've got Andy Cole, Wes Brown, Mark Hughes, and Nicky Butt. Answer who the odd one out is, and you will get a prize on that. And we are going to have a live auction as well. Jamie, if you can hold up the prize if you have it to hand. A live auction. We're going to start the bidding at £10. And it is this signed montage that was signed on the Man United Legends Tour in Northampton. We've got Wes Brown, Clayton Blackmore, Dennis Irwin, and Lee Martin. So if you want to bid on that, put your bids into the questions down the bottom. So comments there, answer the question that's scrolling on the bottom, and then you have a chance of winning loads of great prizes here from Superstar Speakers. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's welcome in our Manchester United legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Wes Brown.
How you doing, lads? How is everyone?
How you doing, Wes?
Oh, good, Wes. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good as can be, yeah.
Yeah.
How you coping in isolation, Wes?
All right, yeah. The kids do me head in a bit every now and again. That's normal. But okay.
What kind of stuff you been doing with the kids then? Are you doing homeschooling?
Yeah, but they tell me they're done in an hour, and then I check it in the hour, so it's a bit frustrating. Just try and keep them busy. They've got quite a few chores to do.
Cracking the whip.
Yeah, which they're not doing properly. So it's been okay. It's been okay.
Good. Are you missing football, Wes? That's the thing.
Yeah, definitely. Miss going to the games. I mean, I don't mind watching it on the telly, but when you already know the result, it's not the same, is it? Do you know what I mean? So definitely missing it.
Yeah, a few of the channels have shown, like, I think they were showing Euro 96, weren't they, recently? And a lot of different, but it's just not the same, is it? It's just not.
No, it's not. I mean, it's good watching it, even a lot of the sports, but it just needs, I don't know, it's a weird one, but I'm looking forward to when it does start again.
Yeah. What is it you're actually up to now, Wes? You know, before we did go into isolation, what kind of things were you up to?
I was doing different stuff. I was working a lot for the club. We still have a daily MUTV chat, which we do for the club, which is pretty funny, with a few of the lads. But obviously, a lot of my stuff was traveling to places and meeting people, which obviously you can't do at the moment. So, just been cracking on with that, really. Yeah, obviously, I do my own football school as well, which we can't do at the moment. So we've had to. Obviously, we missed Easter, and you know, we don't know sort of when that's going to be going again.
Yeah, maybe there's an opportunity there to do something online. Use Zoom. I think you can get up to 100 participants. So
you never know. Yeah,
watch them do the skills online.
Yeah, it'd be good. I mean, I've seen some people doing a few bits and bobs, so might nick a few ideas.
How did you get into doing the school then? How did that come about?
Well, it wasn't necessarily my kids, because my kids don't like football. I've got all girls, and they're more into netball, gymnastics, cheerleading, stuff like that. But there was I know a lot of people near where I am, and especially half terms and holidays. A lot of the kids just wanted to play football. So yeah, we start very young, 7, 8, and go all the way to like 14, 15. But it's just a good laugh, you know. They can learn some things, but most of all, have a bit of fun.
Yeah, and just for the viewers, how is it you get your children involved in that with the Wes Brown school?
Well, luckily, some of the friends do it. Some of the girls do it. So because they're friends, they get involved, but they're just what's the word? They lose concentration very quickly, I can say, with them too. But I mean, they do come down and help, but every day they won't join him.
Okay. And is this something anybody can get involved with? Can come down and join?
Yeah. Obviously, of course, yeah. Obviously, we don't know when it's going to be back on at the moment because of everything, but hopefully, once we sort of know what we're doing, we can start preparing. Looking forward.
I want to know, Wes, going back to when you started playing football as a young man, because you started off in the Man United Youth Academy, right? Were you always a United fan? Because you're born and bred Manchester, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I mean, I played. I didn't join United till I didn't sign till I was 14.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
I started training when I was 13, but I was probably one of the later ones in my group, in my year. I had a few trials at Man City, Oldham. Oldham wanted me, Man City didn't. And then it was funny, honestly, about 2 weeks later, Nobby Styles for my dad, and it just pretty much went from there.
Yeah, so you turned pro in 1996, is that right? And then you had your senior debut at back end of the 97-98 season. I think you played 2 games in that season. What was that like, making your debut? Obviously, you was Jimmy Murphy, twice Young Player of the Year, which is no one had done since Ryan Giggs. So what was it like once you finally made your debut?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we signed YTS at 16. I signed pro at 17. And then it went really quick. I started training with the first team pretty much 6 months after I signed me pro. When I got to 18, started training with him on a regular basis. And then my debut game, mate, it's still one of my favourite games. It's definitely up there in my top 3. Probably the most nervous I've ever been leading up to it. Even from Pally telling me I was starting. Well, I didn't start, but I mean, I didn't sleep the whole night. And I was probably just going through on adrenaline, if I'm being honest. But I suppose when you're that age, you can do it. But yeah,
you're invincible at that age, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, it was brilliant. And luckily, I mean, I always say to the young lads, especially coming through, I was one of the lucky ones. I had a good game that day. I always think it helps if you have a good game on your debut. Because a lot of people don't necessarily do, and it doesn't mean they're a bad player. It just means it might take a little bit longer to get in. But I was lucky and had a good game, and then sort of started playing on a more regular basis. Obviously, the season after.
Yeah. So when you made that step up to the senior training level, did you look around and think, you know what, I can break into this team? I've got a good chance here.
Not at all. Not at all. I remember one of my first training sessions marking Mark Hughes. I honestly walked off thinking I'd never make it at all. Yeah, he bullied me in every sort of way. From me trying to win a header to him bringing the ball down. You remember that he always used to bring it down on his chest knee. Yeah. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, fantastic.
And I used to think I was about to win it, and he'd just like sort of back up into me, land his feet, bring it down, play it off, and I was just thinking, wow.
Yeah, it's almost one motion, wasn't it? Just do it all in one movement.
Yeah. And obviously you learn a lot. It was brilliant playing with him because obviously you're playing with the best players and you're learning stuff all the time. Straight away you learn, who you can sort of fight and who you can't. You've got to mark them in a different way. So it was brilliant. And there was times obviously when the manager helped a lot as well. When I thought I played really bad and he just told me to keep going, it's a learning process. So
you played with some real great teams. You talk about like Pallister and Irwin and people like that, then going all the way through to 2013. That's a great era for Manchester United. Do you ever just look at that and think how lucky you were to have had to be in teams with Gary Pallister as well as Ronaldo in your career?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I always used to watch Pally and Brucey growing up. So to obviously get on sort of the back end of him playing and watching him play, and obviously looking at what he's achieved was brilliant for me. And obviously you can learn a lot as well. And then obviously my first season, there was Ronnie Johnson, who people underestimate so much. He was brilliant. Jaap Stam, Maisie Henning, and then obviously Dennis, Phil and Gary. So there was all these people you could look up to. And obviously I was the youngest, and I'd just try and make sure I would stay on their sort of level and not let anyone down, really.
Yeah, and there was a lot of games played that. Like your first full season was obviously the 1998, 1999 treble winning season, and you contributed to 21 games in that season. There's quite a lot of squad rotation going off, especially at the back with the defenders.
Yeah, it was. And it was probably a bit harder then as well, because in the Premier League there was only 5 subs. You could only choose from 5. Obviously in the Champions League it was 7. But yeah, the manager was brilliant with me. He trusted me every now and again to throw me in. At the same time, we're winning all these games, very important games, and the experience I got off that season was tremendous.
Yeah, I think
in hindsight, what's it like having that as your first season? Like that?
Yeah, it's weird. I've tried to explain it before to people, because people tell me what was the hardest part of football, and I always say, when I went to Sunderland and understanding, I've just come from the top end and to the end that's struggling. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, and I try to explain it the best I can without trying to sound weird. But I obviously, when my first season we won the treble, from then on we continued to win stuff the whole time.
And you was a bit unfortunate after that season, weren't you? You had an injury. What kept you out?
Yeah,
for the following season?
I've always had bad knees, and at some point, I had a brilliant season, that 08 season, and then I got another little niggle, and it's always been the same for me ever since I did my 2 ACLs when I was very young. And the surgeon did always say at some point, you know, he goes, they probably give you 10 years out of it, but how bad they're going to be, I don't know. And when I say bad, it's just wear and tear, and the sore and the swelling. And you know, a lot of sports people will be able to sort of relate to what I'm saying, but it becomes very hard near the end as you get older.
You're all right, aren't you? Like you're not in like a real bad condition now. Like you can still play football with the kids, etc.
No, I can play, but then for 2 or 3 days they'll be swollen. Anything running, so I do a lot of bike. And if I am going to the gym, I try and do a bit more boxing, because it's not as much as force on your knees. I can still get a game in, though, lads. I can still get a game in.
Yeah, we've seen you. I think it was last year you played in Mansfield. I think Gareth Bull, he brought a team down. And
I love them games, mate.
Yeah, you played against the team over at the Debdale Sports Club.
Yeah, I love getting together with the old lads, because there's a few of them lads that obviously I didn't play with as well. And one of my first games, I mean, Sammy McIlroy was playing, and I thought, oh my God, he was unbelievable. And, you know, he's a lot older than me, and he was still the same. He was getting the ball. No one could get it off him. He was brilliant. So it just shows that, you know, through the years, how good the teams have been. And the players.
Class is permanent. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But you're still seeing him now. You saw Clayton Blackmore the other day doing his Keep You Up challenge, and he's still looking good, and he's still got the brain's still there, isn't it? That's the difference. The mind is still there for football. It's just the pace.
The mind's there. It's just the legs, mate. You just can't get there anymore. That's everything. But obviously, Clayton's a coach as well, so we'll be doing stuff every day, which is good.
Yeah, good. So you was injured for the 99-2000 season. You came back in 2000. You played 41 games that season. You got into the PFA Team of the Year. Would you say that's probably one of your, on a personal level, that's one of your best performing seasons for Manchester United? Yeah,
I mean, the injury I took really hard at the beginning. I didn't really think much about it. Didn't really understand how serious it was. And it took a while for me to get back. You know, it took basically a full season to get back. And once I got my head around that, started training hard, and then I just wanted to get back in and obviously show what I can do still. And you know, when you get injured like that for so long, this hard time you can have, you know, mentally can be hard, but you know, you get through it with your family. That even the lads, the physios, the manager. I remember when I was in the gym every day, as everyone will tell you. And I got to the point where I just didn't want to go to the gym. But I'm not that sort of guy to say I just don't want to do it. It's like a mental breakdown. And I went to see the manager and said, boss, I don't know what it is. I can't go in the gym anymore and lift any more weights. And he just, simple as hell, just went, yeah, get yourself away for 2 weeks. And that just straight away, get yourself revitalized, come back. And then all of a sudden you've got another focus, and you know there's only 2-3 months left. and then you start climbing again. But he was brilliant for things like that.
Yeah, that season led on to you obviously getting your England call up, and you went on to the World Cup to follow in 2002.
Yeah,
what was that like,
yeah.
with England lads and being part of that squad? What was that like?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, I was probably in the squad in and out for 12 years. I didn't play that many games, but I was probably in the squad. I mean, we had some fantastic centre backs, and Gary Neville was mainly the right back at the time. The World Cup was brilliant. I mean, Gaz wasn't there. Danny Mills played, and he actually played very well, to be fair. And I was sort of backup. Great experience. We played some brilliant teams. Obviously, getting knocked out to Brazil with that famous goal from Ronaldinho. But I'm glad I went to it and the experience of it. When I look back, yeah, would I ever like to play more? Yeah, but there was so many top class centre halves then. You know, it was a tough one. I mean, even then there was Keown, Sol Campbell, Gareth Southgate, Rio, and that's before your John Terrys, your Ledley Kings, your Jonathan Woodgates. You know, we had a really good pick of centre backs.
Yeah, you did manage 23 caps for England, and I think it was you who bought on your own retirement from the England squad. Is that right?
Yeah, do you know what it was? I was my knees were getting worse, and England training it's honestly so hard, and you have to be up to standard. And that little break, it helped me. And I wasn't one of the young lads. I just thought it was better. I remember going to see him, and just thought it was better that, you know, there was good young lads coming through. And I just felt it was better for me to carry on my career. That them little breaks was perfect for me, and it did end up that they were as well. But I was never still going to be a regular. But I always enjoyed my time there.
I've got a question for you, Wes. 2008, Man United, Barcelona. What's it like playing in defence when you've got Messi coming towards you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a job. I mean, the manager asked me to be the one to sort of mark him. He pretty much gave me the free roam really to wherever he goes, I go. And there was a couple of times, believe me, when I wasn't near him and he started running at us, especially early on. But yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, we all know what Messi can do, and you know, pace wise at the time, I wasn't afraid of that. It was more the diving in. you know what? He's just you think you're there. He's one of them, honestly. There's a few players like that. You think you're going to get the ball, and he just nips it, and you still can't even get him on the floor as well. He just jumps over you. So, I mean, we all had to be on our game for them 2 games especially, and obviously missing Vida as well for the semi-finals. And you know, most of the season I was playing right back that one. So, but I had no problem coming inside. The manager asked me, I said no problem. And you know, after the first game, I always thought, you know, we can probably get this. We just have to, as long as we do our job, I'm pretty sure the lads will do theirs.
Yeah, what reaction do you get when the manager's like, right, where's you're on Messi? Are you like, yeah, here we go, here's a chance to prove myself? Or, oh man, I didn't want him. I wanted some, you know, I wanted Vintage to mark.
Probably none of them. It's just it sounds bad. It's just that's absolutely no problem. Boss won't let you down. That you get that sort of mind for, you know, and it was more that sort of way.
So the follow on then from this question, and then I'm going to put back to Jamie. Where do you stand on who's better then, Messi or Ronaldo? Because it's the big debate in football. You've played with one, you've marked the other. Yeah. What's your take on that?
I mean, I've been asked this question so many times, and I will always stand by Ronaldo. But that doesn't mean that Messi is just below. Do you know what I mean? I think that they're on par with each other in 2 different ways. They play completely different. One's a powerhouse, physically better than everyone else, still gets the end product. Messi, I mean, if you watch Messi, you have to put your hands together and go, wow. You know, some of the things he does, the way you can see he's gifted as a footballer, and again, gets the same product. And why I don't compare him, because I put him on the same. I honestly do, for the simple fact that they're the same results. You know what I mean? If you look at these guys' records, it's
incredible.
Yeah. Honestly, you have to put your hands up and just say, please stop doing that, and just enjoy them while they're there, because they will be gone one day. And there's not many. There's no one on their level at this time. And,
No,
in our lifetimes, I've never seen two players like that in my entire 39 years of watching football. You know what I mean? Like we've got two greats.
And you have to remember, you probably need them both there. If there was just one of them, the other one might be not as good. You know, because they're always
they're pushing each other on, and
they do.
They're competing all the time, aren't they?
I mean, look how many hat tricks they've got between them. I mean, it's absolutely the disgrace when you look at the numbers. And I don't like necessarily stats all the time, but when you look at them numbers, you just got to put your hands together and go, "Wow!"
You can't deny it, can you?
No, you can't, and it's as simple as that. You know, Messi. It would have been nice to see him at another team, but he is Barcelona through and through. And we've had players at the club that have done the same. But Ronaldo, you know, he's done it at every team he's been at, and you've got to put your hands together for that.
Yeah, you can almost say he could have stayed at Real Madrid and got that the 6th Ballon d'Or, but he chose to go to Juventus in a league what's quite hard scoring.
Yeah, he likes a team, and I mean, he likes a challenge. And you know, you can't fault Messi. Messi is suited for Barcelona. Let's be honest. It's the best team for him. The way they play, he's the main man, and you know, he's been fantastic for him for all these years.
Cool. Well, I think that's a great time to go into Wes's fantasy 1 to 11 Manchester United team. We did this with Clayton Blackmore and Lee Sharp, but the only rules are every player needs to have played for Manchester United. So, Wes, if you want to talk us through your team.
Yeah, I did this very quickly, and can I just say something? I always change it. It's really weird. I always change it, but we'll start. Yeah, let's go.
Let's crack on. So, in goal, we've got Van der Sar.
I've gone Edwin because Peter I played with for 1 year, whereas Edwin, you know, I played for a good few years and got to know him very well, and at the same time, he was as brilliant as well.
Yeah, you had it was the era when we were struggling for a keeper at the time, weren't it? And we went through a few keepers, obviously Bosnich and Taibbi and Barthez, and obviously Van der Sar came along, and he was the missing piece almost, weren't he?
Yeah, he's what you needed. He was so experienced already when he got here. You know, he's a pure unit in the goal as well. He's massive. And when he was needed, he done his job as well, it gives you so much confidence as defenders as well. So I had to go with Edwin.
How important is that relationship between the defender and the keeper for when you're playing like in them big games?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we had really good relationships where, you know, we're talking about stuff where you don't necessarily have to say anything to each other. You can just do nods and stuff like that. I know it sounds so stupid, but you get each other. You pretty much get each other, and you know, the respect for all of us was brilliant.
That's great. And your defence, I think Jamie really loved it. This is you can tell you're a defender. This is a brutal defence there, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put any fullbacks in because I just had to put them ones in. I mean, Rio and Vida, obviously we know what they done, and the pairing between them absolutely fantastic. One of the best I've seen, if not the best. But Yapstam was as well. I had to put him in, so I had to go with the 3 because I can't put any of them right back or left back. And I tell you what, I've seen probably one person get past Yapstam the whole time. Even in training, he was a beast, and obviously he was massive for the 99 season and what we achieved.
Why no John O'Shea?
Do you know what? That's what I'm saying. If I would have put the fullbacks in, Shazy was there, left back. Yeah, definitely.
We were talking about him earlier with his nutmeg on Figo. Like, what was your reaction when you saw that? Because obviously you and him are pals. Were you just like, I can't believe he's tried that? Or was it?
Ooh, Shazy. You know what? Shazy had that in the bag, you know. He could pull something off no matter what position he played. He'd get you a sneaky goal as well.
The goal against Arsenal. When
he'd get you do something cheeky. Honestly, he had that in the bag, but Shazy was brilliant and, you know, reliable up there with one of the best.
Moving on to your midfield then. We've gone 4 across. We've got Scholes, Robson, Keane and Giggs.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do here, I'm probably going to put Robbo, Keano and Scholes in the 3 and Giggsy just in front of them.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to put all of them in. I mean, Giggs is my favourite player, just because as a kid, that's the guy I wanted to be him on the right wing. I used to play right wing, and I just love watching him. But obviously, Robbo and Keane, there's not much getting past that, if I'm being honest. And then you've got Scholesy there, who again he's probably the most natural and best player at United when I was there.
I think he might have been one of the best midfielders in English history, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So Scholesy had to go in there, and I'm missing out a good few there as well, which it hurts me. My subs would be good though.
Yeah, a lot of the guys we've had on previously, they struggle with leaving Keane or Robson out, and I see you've gone for both.
Yeah, because you're not getting past that. Let's be honest. If you do get past Robbo, Keano's there, vice versa, you've got a bit of flair with Giggsy, and then Scholesy just running the show.
Can you imagine getting through Robson, like actually getting past all the brutality, then bumping into Roy Keane next?
Exactly.
Like, you'd just give him the ball, wouldn't you? Like,
exactly. Keano was a brilliant captain, honestly. The best captain I've ever had. And, you know, he's obviously a strong character, as we all know. But when you're on the pitch with him, you know, he wants 100%, and he makes sure you get it. He makes sure he gets it as well.
What do you think it is about Keane that makes him such a good captain outside of that, like that work ethic? What is it? Because he really is just a leader of men, isn't he? What is it from your point of view that really defined him as a captain?
You know, first of all, when you're looking around, you can see all the other lads respecting him, and what he actually does on the pitch is completely right. You know, you do need a general on there. It helps the team, even if it is shouting at you. And that's the thing. He did praise you a lot as well. Just that everyone didn't see that. You know, when you're in the changing room or walking off, he praised you a lot, or he try and help you out. But you know, the most obvious bit was where if you weren't playing well or you did a bad pass, you would see him give you a good rollicking. But that was part and parcel of it, and I loved it because it just meant that, you know, you need to step your game up.
Did you ever get to play with Robson as well? Obviously, when you were there in the youth team, were you there when Robson was there?
No. So Robson he'd left, but obviously I used to watch Robson. I've sort of done players I've watched or played with, because obviously I wanted to put. Well, if you see on the next one, I wanted to put George Best in, but because I didn't really watch him, it was just before me. I didn't.
Fair enough.
Changed so many times on what I'm thinking in my head.
Your two strikers then, three strikers, I beg your pardon. We have got Cantona, Ronaldo, and Rooney.
Yeah, again, it was hard to miss out. Maybe Rude, even Kohler, but I had to put Rooney in, just for the fact that if Ronaldo wasn't there, he would have been the main guy. And you can even ask Wayne on this. When Ronaldo come in, you seen what he had, the gift he had. You know, he let him go centre stage, which I love about him as well. And what the best thing was about when we used to play teams, everyone would be worried about Ronaldo, and I think sometimes forget about Rooney, and then he'd go and produce. But he was a quality finisher.
A lot of people don't remember that, do they? It did make a lot of sacrifices. Rooney, he'd go out to the left, and he'd always put the team first.
Yeah, he definitely would, and you could see Ronaldo getting better and better and better. And Ronaldo was the guy. If you were struggling, the whole team was struggling because we didn't play well every week in, week out. He'd be the guy that come up with something. You know, these certain players that can do that along the generations, and he was one. And Wazza could see that, and you know, we wanted the best for the team, but he was still fantastic.
He's almost, by dropping off to the left, he's almost probably sacrificed 30 or 40 goals, what he could have scored extra by playing up front.
Yeah, definitely. But Wazza, you know, in his mentality, he loved the assist as well. He loved it. You could ask him. You know, he liked making the assist. He would love that final ball as well, which we all know he can do.
Yeah, I think the one what really sticks out for me is the one for the Van Persie volley, which against Aston Villa.
I seen that the other day because I think it was 6 years ago. I think it was since that goal, and it was on. I seen it on a few shows, but brilliant. He does see that in a sense. A little bit like Scholesy, he'll see it and he'll just play it. You know, he won't think twice about it. He'll just put it on. You know, a spoon for someone to tap him.
Yeah, and is he somebody you still speak to? Why is it? Is it Derby?
Yeah, I still speak to Wazza all the time. You know, obviously live pretty close by as well. So
I want to know in this team, can Ronaldo and Cantona coexist? Because that is two big egos there.
Yeah, but I think the respect would be enormous, and I think Cantona, knowing how good Ronaldo was, he'd be looking to just play him in all the time, which we know he can do a lot. Again, his assist play was brilliant.
Is Cantona going to give over that number 7? That's the question.
No, I know you'd have to leave that with Cantona. I'm sorry. We'll have
Robson
to
as well. Robson's a proper number 7. He'd have a say in that, surely.
Yeah, there's a few. I'm sure that we'll let him have a little battle in the dressing room. Not sure who win. It won't be Ronaldo who wins that anyway, but Cantona and Robbo will probably come out there.
So another question.
That's a strong team, that.
Yeah, that's very strong team. It's a good team.
Who's your captain in that team, Wes?
Oh God, that's horrible. Well, I'm going to have to go with Keane, obviously, because I didn't play with Robson. And if Keane wasn't there, it'd be Robson.
Yeah, you've almost got 7 or 8 captains within that team,
exactly,
haven't you?
Mate, exactly. Yeah. So I can't. It's a tough one, yeah. But I'll probably go with Keane. A lot of people just a bit older than me will definitely be Robson. But yeah, Keane or Robson, yeah.
Nice.
No, great team.
Right, so we're going to open this up then for a few questions from the fans. They've been piling the questions in, so we're just going to put the best ones up on the screen for you, Wes.
Okay.
Starting with Craig Money. He says, Carrick rarely gets a look in with these, but did he come close? He's one of his all-time favourites.
100%. I think if you ask Scholesy, I'd say Carrick was the best player he ever played alongside in that sort of centre midfield role. He was a guy that chilled everything out. His passing range was unbelievable. He would never be shy of asking for the ball, and that was a big thing when we were playing. Not one player was shy of asking for the ball. They'd always want the ball. He could score, like I said, long balls, short balls. He'd find a gap. And he could do the graft as well, the defending. And, that's what made our team a little bit special because everyone wanted to do every side of it.
Another question. This is from Joy. Says, you've always enjoyed a good tackle. Is there one that sticks out which gave you the most satisfaction?
Yeah, I love to tackle. I'm not going to lie, lads. And you know what? I never tackled to injure anyone. I always tried to win the ball fairly. But obviously, I did try and win it pretty hard. If there's one that sticks out, we played Chelsea in the FA Cup final. Was it FA Cup or Charity Shield? And I remember Robin. He kicked it in front of me, and I've completely gone. I've already slid in from, I don't know, 3 or 4 yards from him. Just managed to get the ball and took him out as well. It was beautiful. He went flying through the air. It wasn't a foul because I did get the ball, but if I was to miss that, that's where the problem comes. Straight red, and I'd be off.
And he's one of those players. Once he's away, you're not catching him away.
No.
Unbelievably quick.
It was when it was quick, lad. So I'd fancied myself. But yeah, I just managed to get him. But there's been a lot. I mean, there was one. It was one against Everton, and I'd proper gone into a 50-50, and that was the time when I thought I need to stop doing this because I was in so much pain, lads. It was against Unsworth. Oh my God, have you seen his legs?
Yeah.
Unsworth, and I've gone into a 50-50. Honestly, I've jumped up normal, but my head was going, oh my God, I'm shaking here, but other than that, I was pretty much. I would never shy out of one anyway. I wish I would, but it just wasn't in me to do that.
Winning mentality. Here's a great question from Linos. What's the pros and cons of playing in India?
Oh, it's hot. Yeah,
not different to Manchester, yeah?
A lot different. It was funny, me and Berbatov and Paul Chubka went. He used to play for Man United as well, and we had our own little hour tanning. In midday, it was different. It was hard because the heat was so much. It took a while to get used to. I love playing the games. I mean, our fans, which were the Corella Blasters, it was the first game we got 50,000. Absolutely crazy. Music going off. Loved it. The standard was okay. I mean, I was lucky in the sense that definitely I'm going to say League One. And what I mean by that is I always had a little bit of time to get in position as I was getting older. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I did okay. I know it sounds like someone might take an extra touch where probably someone else wouldn't have in England, so that I could get in position. But love playing the games, and the fans were brilliant. And we lived in a hotel.
Yeah.
So we lived there for 7-8 months.
And what was that like for your family, for your kids? Did they enjoy
Yeah,
it?
well, they came over twice, which breaks it up perfect, if I'm being honest. And then they actually have Christmas off. So you get like 8 days off of Christmas. So we went to the Maldives. So it all tops up. It was nice. We didn't.
Is it almost like a semi-retirement for you when you're in that league? And you?
Do you know what? Right? If anyone asked, I'd still try and play now if I could. That's the honest truth. And so after Blackburn, it was probably the time to hang up my boots. But Rennie Mullenstein phoned and said, "Come on, you can give us 18. There's only 18 games, you see. You could give us 18 games." And I'm not gonna lie, after about 13, I'm like, I don't know if I can. My knees were killing me.
And what is how regular are the games?
So probably once a week, but then there will be a week where you play the Saturday and then Wednesday, if that makes sense. But pretty much it's a week, and then sometimes 10 days. But when the close ones were there, my recovery my swelling on my knees was getting tight, where I couldn't probably train for a few days, and then because there was no point training because the swelling would just carry on. So that's the time I knew that this is definitely the last little bit. So I'm just going to enjoy it, which I did.
Is there a big difference between like the culture of Indian football? Because I've seen like other Indian sports and the way they put in their own culture and their stamp on it. Is there a big difference between that and say English football or European football? It's like a massive.
Well, the thing is that cricket's the main sport.
Yeah.
Everything's cricket. So even every game's on telly, the football, but even that's rotated around the cricket. And it's getting better. There's a lot of foreigners going in there now, even ex players, really top class names, and people trying to help it. They're still learning. I remember when we went and we tried to change the food a little bit.
Okay.
But the lads just didn't like it. They didn't like that. It's hard to just change something like that. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, the lads are used to eating something, and then you go, right, you're not eating that no more. You're sort of eating more European food. It doesn't necessarily work like that. Do you know what I mean? So you have to guide it in a little bit. And we did a lot of, weights and stuff like that, building up stuff, which they weren't they just didn't do. So they pretty much went into the games. You do a lot of obviously football training. It's getting used to everything else, your diet and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I
think Wenger went through the same thing at Arsenal in the 90s, didn't he? When he had Paul Merson and Tony Adams. I think like that culture change sounds very similar to that.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, whether you just go bang, that's what we're doing, or let's bring it in gradually. You know what I mean? But obviously, when you've been living a certain way your whole life, and then you try and change something and food is important. When you just sort of say, it's like someone saying to me, right, where's no more chips, you're just having Brussels sprouts. I'll be devastated. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't like Brussels sprouts, and it'd be hard. I'd be like, I wouldn't eat before that. So you got to the point where a few of the lads wouldn't maybe not eat everything, and they weren't fully prepared because they didn't necessarily like it or whatever. So, you're starting to learn, and that's the main thing.
So from when you first started at United through to when you finished, what did the strictness change on diets and things like that? Did it get stricter?
When I first started, obviously we had a lot at the training ground, which you did. You had your lunch at the training ground. There was a point where when I was injured, I used to get me dinners prepared for me at the training ground off Mike the chef, and it just so I would eat the correct amount of stuff. But as you get older, you know your body a lot more, and you know what you can and can't have. And people always used to say, "Can you have like fast food?" I say, "Of course you can every now and again," but in general, you stick to what you normally have.
Without the manager knowing.
Without the manager. No, he'd be fine every now and again. I remember when we played at Everton, and I remember on the coach, we all stopped at the chipper. you know what I mean? Like it was at the end of the season, like, but it is what it is. And the manager sort of trusted us on that as well.
Another question from Pew G's is, who's the biggest prankster in the dressing room?
Oh, there's a few. First of all, definitely David May. Then I'd go Evra or Quinton Fortune.
Is there any stories you can share from that or not?
Amazing, I can't. Just silly stuff, mate. It wasn't that bad. I've heard some bad ones before, but obviously there's always a few clothes that get cut up or hung up or burnt or something on a mess.
We were speaking to obviously Clayton Blackmore the other day, and David Beckham had his initiation where he had to perform an act on a calendar picture of Clayton Blackmore. Was there anything like that going off when you?
Yeah, he was when I first joined. Yeah, probably up there. Most nervous is playing my debut. That was when they get you in the room. But I tell you what, once it's done, you just feel part of the whole team, and that's the first team as well. And we was only 16. I'm not sure they do it anymore because they're not allowed.
Done for bullying.
Yeah. But at the same time, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, and it just integrated the lads from obviously YTS to the first team. So now when you're walking around the cliff, there's no more heads down. It's right, Giggsy, all right, Buddy, all right, Coley. You know what I mean? Pretty much off that one setting.
I like that.
Yeah.
Which is only going to help you on the pitch, isn't it? Really, like when you're friendly with them like that, it's only going to help you when you actually do break into the first team and you're playing with them. Surely,
definitely, yeah. The more you talk, and it's the more natural it becomes, really. And like you probably know, not everyone's best friends off the pitch. Like everyone goes home and got their own families and life. But as soon as we got in that changing room, we were best of friends, and that's what made it wicked, I think.
Here's a question which we just flagged up. Andrew Minchin, as a defender, what's your opinion on Wan-Bissaka? Is he our right back for the next 10 to 15 years?
Yeah, I love Aaron. I've said it since the beginning of the season. I think he's done excellent, and you know, people always say you can't do this, can't do that, but he's improving every game. You know, he's improving his attacking as well. He's learning that, but his defending is brilliant. Absolutely love him in that sort of sense. And you know, a lot of people say, you know, as a defender, he slides a lot, but he slides a lot because he looks like he's very good at it. Do you know what I mean?
He almost seems to enjoy playing against those flair players who's trying to.
Yeah, he knows what he's
one-on-one with him. He prefers the one-on-one situation, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit like me. He's not smiling at anyone as well. He's saying, "Let's have this today." I like that. You know, that sort of concentration, and he's doing his job, and he's been brilliant, I think.
Do you think it's helped him as well? Because he came in about the same time as Maguire, and all the attention has been put on Maguire, whereas Bissaka can just get on with his job outside of the scrutiny that Maguire's getting.
Yeah, I think that does help because you don't know how people are going to handle that side of it. Do you know what I mean? I think Maguire's been brilliant in a sense, but Aaron the year before at Crystal Palace was doing the same thing. If you look back, he was just getting on with it, pretty much dealing with what was put in front of him. But he's still learning as well. You know, he's learning not always to dive in. You know, he's waiting for his opportunity, but you can see he's confident in his own game, and that's what I like.
Got a question here from Tom Goldfinch about the 2008 Champions League final. What went through your mind when it went down to penalties?
Well, Tom, I can tell you I was nervous. Don't worry about that. No, I come off. So obviously it's gone into extra time, and I come off of about 20 seconds before the final whistle for Anderson. And I'm not going to lie, I was half buzzing. I was thinking, yeah, because you don't have to take a penalty, and it's weird. It just happened, and then you're obviously just nervous for everyone else. But obviously not took a penalty in a proper game. Everything else I've always slid it in. By the way, lads, put it in corner, sent the keeper the wrong way, but never in a game. Anderson coming on was brilliant because he's so confident and good at penalties that it was obviously the right decision to do, and obviously he scored his.
Still with the Champions League finals, what's your difference of feelings and experience between 99 and 2008?
Yeah, well, people still ask me what was the best, and I can't. it's hard to explain, but it still has to be 99.
It's got to be the way you won it as well in '99. The teams you beat to get there. There was some immense teams in Italy back then, weren't they?
Yeah, there was. I mean, obviously Juventus is your Inter Milan. We had Bayern Munich, Barcelona in the group. You know, massive teams with great players on, and like I said, it was just more games, and the lads. Obviously, we got lucky a little bit in the final, but you know there was no giving up. And once we knew the opportunity was there that we could maybe get a goal, you could see us get back into it. And obviously, what happened after it. But I do have to say that was the best feeling I've had in football.
Because you was on the bench for that final.
Yeah, I was on the bench.
Was there any point of that game where you thought I might get a run here?
You never know. But I'm guessing if you're getting beat, you don't put defenders on anyway. That was always sort of a thing in the back of your mind. But me and I remember saying to Jonathan Greening, you could be on here, you know, mate. I'm telling you, because you just don't know what the gaffer's thinking. But the way it finished, and then obviously what happened after it, and doing the bus all down Manchester was perfect. And I've not seen it like that since.
What was the difference for you being like a young, just breaking into the team in '99 to being a senior player in 2008? What was the difference for you between those two finals?
Well, I just tried to do what some of the lads did to me, like your Butties, your Giggses, Kohler, Yorker. I got on with all the young lads, you know what I mean? I used to go in their room and have chat with them and everything. So I just went that sort of way with it. So they were never shy of coming up to me and asking me a question.
And as opposed to '99, you was a bit more of a bit part player then. Obviously, in 2008, that was your record season for appearances in Champions League as well. I think you had 10 appearances in the Champions League.
Yeah, and but growing up, the kids there, I mean, you can probably even ask him. They had no problem with coming up to me and asking me whatever. We was all still good mates. We all got on, just like when we said once we did our stuff, you know, you could go and chat to anyone, and I always tried to keep it that way because I knew it worked for me. So, and everyone's different, you know, but I was definitely that way.
Here's a great question. Who didn't you get to play with on the pitch for Man United and you think gutted because he's one of the best?
Eric Cantona. I played in his testimonial, but can you class that as a proper game? But I would say Eric Cantona. I used to clean his boots, so it would have been nice to you know, if he was to bang one in and I was playing with him, say, I clean them for you today. There you go, pal. You know what I mean? But yeah, probably Eric Cantona.
Hell of a player, Cantona. What a presence that man had. Did you notice that when you were with him? Because me and Jamie worked with him a couple of years back, and he's just got this. All the light in a room just seems to go to him when he's there.
Yeah, he's got all the aura. I mean, we used to at the Cliff. There used to be when you first walk in, there's some red seats, and that's where all the YTS would sit. Because we'd get there before everyone and do the jobs. And you know, you probably have a laugh with a few of the other lads, but when he walked in, you were just quiet. Not that he was doing anything bad. You just
we managed to spend 7 days with him, and I don't think we actually said an extra word from when we first met him on the first day
do you?
to the last day.
And that's just the way it is.
Always in awe of him, and there was ex-players there as well, and they was the same.
Yeah, you have a little look at him, but you don't.
With our hat, didn't he?
Say that
at
again.
The end of it, we shook our hands and said, "Thank you, well done."
100%, yeah. Even when he come to some of the games, which wasn't many, I can maybe think of two. He would just say, "Well done, well done, well done." You know, I mean, not much, but you'd be like, "Oh, thanks, yeah, cheers, thanks." But that's the way he was, and you can ask the lads who were older than me as well about that.
Yeah, there's probably not many bigger compliment, is there, for Eric to come up to you and say that?
Yeah, he was brilliant.
For him, Jamie. Here's a question. It comes up quite a lot. Pogba, keep or sell?
No, I think you have to keep him. I honestly do, and I know he's got a lot of stick, especially from the fans. Probably for more of his work ethic than anything. But he's a fantastic player, and I'm sure with the midfield now, the battle is going to be brilliant because I think Fred's played brilliant. Scott's in there now, and Bruno coming in is just like lifted everyone.
Yeah, he's hit the ground running, and Fernandez.
If we can get Pogba in there and something works, it'll be fantastic. I'm telling you.
mean, he's a World Cup winner, isn't he? Like, it's almost weird to say, why would you sell a World Cup winner?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm from Manchester, so I understand what the fans want. You know what I mean? They want every side of it. They want every side of it, and he has shown us that, Pogba, and hopefully when he gets back, even the players, everyone sort of before all this happened and we had to stop, was on top of the game a little bit. So it'd be nice, you know, when he does come back to throw him in and just let's see if it all works, and I'm looking forward to it.
Great question here from Craig. Did you ever see Solskjaer as a possible gaffer?
Probably not when I was playing with him. I didn't really think of it like that because he's top man. You can ask anyone that. Still see him now when he's walking a dog and stuff, but probably not straight away when he was still playing. But then you talk to him, when you do talk to him and look how when he was especially subbing, he used to watch defenders and see which one he's going to come up against, which one's tired maybe, or that's when you sort of know, wow, he's very intelligent in what he's thinking and his work process in his head. So obviously when he did become a manager at Cardiff, obviously they got relegated, but what I like about that is he's seen both sides of it, because with Mould he's been in the Champions League, and then obviously he's Manchester United through and through. So to come back, he understands the club as well. He understands every aspect, the academy, you know, all the kids coming up, and I think he's done a really good job at this time. You know, because before that we've had so many good managers in, and nothing was really happening. We weren't going anywhere.
Interesting question here. Who was the snappiest dresser at your time at Man United?
Oh, snappiest. Oh, good, yeah. Well, it wasn't Phil or Gaz, I can tell you that. I'll tell you who was snappy, Coley.
Yeah.
Coley, he likes
yeah, he still is, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When you see Coley, I always go, Coley, and he always gives me that smile, like to say, yeah. That's me. So Coley was definitely up there. I can give you that. Ronnie liked to think he was, but a lot of his gear wasn't really my sort of gear. So I'm going to go with Coley.
He'd love that. Right. Question from Shane. What was Ferguson like as a manager and mentor?
Yeah, he was brilliant. From a kid, he found out everything that I was up to, which wasn't necessarily good. But he'd just give me little hints all the time, and you know, eventually when you get older and the years go by, you can understand what he means by all the little things he was telling you. Even from stop getting the bus, because I used to get the bus to training and the games.
What did he used to say to you when if say he'd leave you out of a game or you weren't quite ready for a game? What kind of things would he say to you so you weren't down about it, or you were looking forward to the next game?
Yeah, I mean, it was never in a bad way. If he did leave you out, and he'd always make sure you understood that you're here for a reason and you're still involved, and it doesn't mean you're not playing again. And that was for most lads as well. You know, if you ever asked, there was times when I wanted to go in and see him and ask him why he weren't playing, but you go in and you don't even get onto that subject. You just walk out smiling for some reason. I don't know. You never really got what you wanted to say, but he always made you. You know, it was like home. He made you feel at home, and that was like that for all the players. And even when I left, you know, I had a year left, and you know, it was a nice conversation. The Chris Smalling and the twins were coming in, Rafa and Fabio, and he was changing the team again. Now you have to remember, I've probably been in 3 teams he's changed. I was there for like 12 years. So there was nothing bad. It just comes to the point at a time when, you know, if you're not going to play anymore, do I carry on playing somewhere else, or do I just sit it out and for another year? And I love football. I just wanted to play.
But then you went to Sunderland.
Yeah, because Shadesy did.
Of course.
See? No,
you might have noticed
a few lads at Sunderland. I can see that, mate. Hey, not where I from, me. You can't show me that.
No, there's a lot of people that are thanking me for doing this.
Yeah.
What was it like? What was it like at Sunderland for you then? Obviously, when John O'Shea went with you, did that make a big difference having someone with you to go through it as well?
Yeah, well, it was Brucey there, and then there was Phil Bardsley, Kieran Richardson. So we had all these, lads that were under us. There was a couple of them there as well. Absolutely loved my time there. It was like completely different to where we was at United. So I've actually experienced both sides of it. And when I look at it now, it was fantastic to do. But at the same time, we were, except for the first season, we was always battling to stay out of that relegation. And luckily, we didn't go down when I was there. But for some reason, you just always knew it was going to come.
Have you watched the documentaries on Netflix?
Yeah, I've watched both of them. Yeah, and the staff still there, love him to bits. The fans, they're so passionate. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what's happening, they will go to that game. You know what I mean? But there was times when it was bad times, but we just had to crack on.
I always feel that like clubs like Sunderland or Leeds or Nottingham, they're like massive clubs with loyal fan bases. Even Blackburn, for a great example of it as well, just deserve that bit better, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and I'm sure they will get it together, and with the right people behind. But at the same time, it just wasn't happening. And we were very lucky as well to get Jermaine Defoe, which helped us massively because we were getting opportunities, but we just couldn't put the ball in the net. Now that's not a dig at the strikers because we all need to contribute, but when you're in the doubt, when nothing's going well and the confidence is low, believe me, you need someone who can put the ball away in the net. And he definitely helped us in that sense.
Yeah, great goals. I don't know how he didn't get as many more England caps than what he did, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly. But finishing wise, I mean, I played with JD. There's not many better finishers. Ruud van Nistelrooy, maybe Ollie. But yeah, he's definitely up there with finishing. Brilliant.
I think if Harry Redknapp had been England manager, he'd have got more, wouldn't he?
Definitely, yeah.
Who's the player you feared most playing? The forward that you feared most.
I mean, Ronaldo was up there. I mean, he had a brilliant game against us at Old Trafford, if you all know about. Zidane was so hard to mark because I didn't really have a bad game against him, but couldn't get near him. Clever, like Scholes, find space. And then there was a few early ones. John Hartson, when he was at Coventry, when I was very young. I tried to mark him like I marked Mark Hughes. Not the right thing to do. I can tell you that, lads. Yeah, so these different, not all necessarily big and strong. Like Messi, I've had a few games against him, done pretty well. So I wouldn't class that as one. There'd be other days when I'm sure he would have been able to tell me otherwise. But yeah, they're probably the three or the four.
We're gonna take a bit of a gap in from the questions because Jamie has very kindly put together a little quiz for you, Wes. Okay. And you've got 10 questions.
Yeah.
And for everyone you get right in a minute, Jamie will put £10 into the NHS.
Come on, Wes.
So you've got 10 questions. You've got 60 seconds. Okay. Are you ready? And Jamie, you agree to that? £10 for every question he gets right.
Yeah. Come on, let's go.
Let's go. So let me just get this timer up and running. Oh, crikey. Too many buttons. Right, we're off. How many league titles have Manchester United won?
70, 22, 21.
Final answer?
22.
Cool. No. Who was the manager before Solskjaer?
Mourinho.
Who is Man United's all-time top goal scorer?
Wayne Rooney.
Which Man United player retired from football with 129 international caps and 1 goal?
Oh, pass.
What's Mark Hughes' nickname?
Sparky.
Berbatov scored 4 hat-tricks in the Premier League during 4 seasons. True or false?
True.
Where did United sign Van Nistelrooy from?
PSV.
Who scored for United in the 2008 Champions League final?
Ronaldo.
Where did Alex Ferguson sign from? Which club did they get him from?
Say that. What?
In 1986, where did... So Alex Ferguson, Thank you very much. Jamie?
Yeah, I think we got 7 there, Wes, but I'm just going to check. I'll check back on the video. The league titles was actually 20.
Yeah.
The footballer who retired with 1 goal, 129 caps was Peter Schmeichel. Yeah, you did all right. So that'll be going to the end.
The league, what else?
The league, the Peter Schmeichel one. Yeah.
With
pressure that.
Yeah, you probably know all the answers straight away, but it's just because you're under pressure with the timer and everything. Yeah, it's good, but well done. Well done.
70 quid.
Yeah, I'll check back.
Yes, as well, which is all good. I've got, while we're on the subject of questions then, our prize draw question, which is going along the bottom there. So basically, if anyone puts the comments in and gets this right, the odd one out, Wes, who do you think it is? Andy Cole, Wes Brown, yourself, Nicky Butt, or Mark Hughes? That is our prize draw question for today's live stream.
Do you want me to say what I think?
You say what you think.
Yeah, go on, say what you think.
We'll get it offline for you.
I can only say Sparky's Welsh, isn't it? So
interesting.
Yeah, interesting. But we'll let you know offline.
Yeah, we'll let you know offline.
Yeah, okay.
And of course, we still have our live auction on as well for the signed montage of the 4 Manchester United legends. So, Wes, if you still have a little bit of time, we've got a few more questions coming in. From Andrew, what felt better, John Terry missing the penalty or Edwin van der Sar saving Anelka's to win the cup?
It's a tough one. John Terry missing a penalty, probably, if I'm being honest. Just because I know he's very good at penalties, just from England. Yeah. So when, do you know what I think it was? When he missed that, I knew we would win. I knew Edwin would come up. Because everyone doesn't think about the Anelka miss, do they? They don't even mention that. But yeah, that was probably the best feeling in that moment.
Question here, what was Steve McLaren like as a coach? Because obviously we only see the negative side of it. Yeah,
Steve was very good. The manager was, when I look back now, he's excellent at picking first team coaches along the way. He had so many good ones, obviously mixed back there now. But Steve McLaren was up there. I mean, I even had Kiddo as well for a while, obviously before he went. So, and then obviously the next year we did the treble, and Steve was a big part of that.
How what's the relationship like between the head coach and the manager? Like they're tight, right? They're going to be
I'm guessing so, but
yeah,
I do know there's only one boss. But
the reason I ask is because I've got my favourite Manchester United clip of all time. I've been dying to play, and you've led me perfectly into it.
Yeah. I tell you what, the funny thing about that, we had Albert Morgan on today.
All right.
With a show in the morning, and that got brought up. And he's just so funny, so unpredictable, that happening. But even he said he jumped out of his skin, no one knew what it was. And then obviously the gaffer's like probably swearing and effing and blinded.
You've got some courage to do that to Ferguson, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably not done it on purpose, but he just thought, like, let's pop that. I'm trying to think, it was definitely after when Bent scored that goal, remember, against Liverpool, and it was a ball. So he was probably thinking, like, best thing just to get this popped, because we don't want it interfering with play.
Beach ball, beach ball.
Yeah, just good.
Another question from Craig Money. What's your thoughts on VAR?
I don't know. I mean, some of it I love, like the goals and stuff. But then still some of it contradicts itself as well. The offside one, the hand being off. I mean, I'm a defender. I'd have had a field day. But at the same time, can you score with your hand? No. Should it be off? Probably not, I don't think. I get that they're saying anything. It's hard.
It's one of them things you don't mind it when it works in your favour.
Yeah,
against PSG, Champions League, last minute.
Yeah.
Well, last second, basically, weren't it?
Yeah, and no, and then obviously some of the penalties. I mean, ultimately, it's still the referee's decision. I mean, the stopping, it doesn't really bother me that much, but at the same time, it would be nice just to keep on going. I don't like the fact that when the lads are scoring and they're not celebrating properly because they're still not sure, or they're always celebrating, having a look to see what's going on. and then you've got to wait. That I mean, there is downfalls, but there is some ups as well. So it's whether they can just get that right.
And there's a lot of questions being asked by guys here about the song that they made for you. How did you feel about that? And obviously, they still sing it to this day, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, I suppose it's an honour, isn't it? I don't know. I get a bit embarrassed when people ask it me, but it's brilliant when you hear them singing it and you were playing. And then I've still been, and like you said, they still sing it, which is fantastic. I mean, to me, it just means that I probably, when I was playing, I probably did my best, and the fans appreciated it. That's how I see it, and I think it's fantastic, but a little bit embarrassing when I'm probably there as well.
Yeah,
at least it's a polite song. Do you know what I mean? At least it's not a negative one.
No, it's not a negative one. So yeah, I can't be playing.
And do you have to explain some of the songs to the guys who are from obviously overseas, and they've got some songs about them which are quite funny, and do you have to explain what the fans are singing?
No, the worst I had to explain it to is when my kids started getting into it a bit and explaining the bad ones. Do you know what I mean? Mine was okay.
Yeah, and like Nemanja Vidic and Ji-sung Park,
exactly,
and that, and try and explain to them what they're actually saying.
But you know what it's like? It's like when you're at a game, it's allowed, but anywhere else, it's not. I don't know what's the rule. Yeah.
Nah.
Great question from Stephen Shaw. We always hear a good assistant manager Carlos Queiroz was. What's your thoughts on what made him so good?
Yeah, when Carlos coming in, he come in with different method and different mentality as well. But it was all about training sessions, keeping us on our toes, bringing in different training sessions. And I think every sort of first team coach we had brought in their own sort of style in as well, which obviously was fine, was brilliant with the manager. But Carlos was top man. And again, we got a lot of success out of us. I mean, even Rennie Mullenstein, when he sort of stepped up a little bit for me when I first started playing right back, helped me a lot. Now, we used to do the kids at the training ground on technical side, taking people on little turns and stuff like that, getting a bit of space. And he helped me a lot playing right back. So, the different coaches help you in different ways.
Is it something you've ever thought about going into? I know you said you do like the kids' school. Have you ever thought about going into coaching and getting your badges and doing that?
Yeah, well, I've got a few of my badges. But if I'm being honest, I've not really thought about it properly yet. Funny enough, it was weird when I did get my badges. There was a few people that wanted me to be manager of teams, which I thought was a bit weird considering I've never sort of done it before in my life. I think if you are going to go into it, you do it the right way, and you put yourself 100% into it, which I wasn't going to do that at that time. But I think it's good to get on a team maybe, and then obviously build your way up like a lot of players have done. I mean, Shazy's doing it at the moment now at Reading. And there is players doing it that way. And I think it's the best way because you get into your rhythm, you're learning all the time. So then if an opportunity did come, then you'd be right for it.
Because there's obviously you've obviously picked up a lot of experience from working with these great managers and great assistant managers. You've obviously got a lot to give back to the game. I wondered if there was anything like at Derby with Rooney that you could like do defensive coaching or something like that.
Yeah, you never know. Like I said, it's not something I've been sort of thinking about, but at the same time, yeah, there is a lot of knowledge there that, even to this day, I have little chats with people, not necessarily just Premier League footballers, but anyone, trying to help them out if I can see them do something or if I think they can do it an easier way, to make them feel comfortable, because all players are different in that sort of way. And so, yeah, I try and do my bit when needed.
I suppose the game's changed as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think the game's changed a lot, and even the way the teams are playing now. I mean, if you look at the way Man City play, for instance, I mean, they're playing everything out from the back or try and pass it out from the back regardless whether there's a mistake. And, a lot of foreign teams do it that way as well. But the mentality, you have to have good mentality in this day and age to succeed.
Going to squeeze in just a couple more questions. If Man United could buy a new forward, who would you buy?
Mbappe. I'd love that, but being realistic, if we got Sancho, I mean, I know we've got quite a few midfielders now that are starting to prove their worth, but if you could get Maddison or Grealish as well, throw them in a mix. And what I mean by that is it was the teams that I've been in over the years, even though the lads got on great and we were good friends, when we got on the pitch, ultimately you're all fighting for your place. And, there was a respect there. There was no moaning and that, when the manager hit the team, you just needed, if you weren't in it, you needed to do better in training. And when you did get your chance, show what you can do. And that's the sort of standard you need. So everyone's always up in the game. And the more players we have in one position that are playing well, if these players that, they should be thinking they're in there, they've got to up the game. And that's the way I see it. That's just the way I got taught.
Final question then, Wes, which is, did you have any pre-game rituals or superstitions?
It didn't start off as that, but for some reason, I think it just popped to my head one day. I always put my left shin pad on first and then my left side. And then as I was going out, I would throw water on my face. Why, I don't know. It wasn't because I started to do it once and I thought about it. I just kept on doing it. But for some reason, always my left shin pad. Well,
interesting.
My left shin pad was me United shin pad though, and on my right shin pad was my England one. So I always used to put my left one on first.
Yeah, and just before we go, Wes, one more question from me. What is your greatest moment of your whole Manchester United career?
Honestly, without putting the cups and stuff in it, honestly, my debut. Well, it's up there. If you're talking about winning stuff, that might be different. But my debut, honestly, how nervous I was, and when the game finished and everyone's saying well done, how good I felt considering, 6 months before I didn't think I'd ever play. When I used to train with the first team, that was one of my best feelings ever.
No, were you always a United fan, Wes?
Yeah, well, my granddad was an Arsenal fan. He was from London. And my dad was a Man United fan. Obviously, Man City was a bit closer to me at the time, being in Moss Side. But other than that, always a United fan. And I've got mates who are City fans, and it's we all have a good laugh.
Yeah, well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Wes. The fans been commenting down the side there, and they're all saying what a great top man, top legend. It's been fantastic to have you on the show. And once again. Everyone. Yeah, thanks a lot for your time. And don't go away, folks, because on next week's show on Sunday, we'll be having Brian McClare. So we've got Brian on the show. So 8 o'clock, and we'll put the details in the group. So log on Sunday at 8 p.m. and we'll be interviewing Brian McClare. Thanks again, and thanks to everybody to coming to the show. And thank you, Wes. It's been an honour.
Yep, stay safe, everyone. See you later.
Cheers, Wes.